Hello everyone! In this video, I will explain the overview of mapping in the SKYVVA system. We will cover internal mapping, external mapping, and hybrid mapping. For each mapping type, I will explain when to use it, its advantages and disadvantages, and provide a summary comparison. What is mapping in SKYVVA? Mapping in SKYVVA defines how data fields from the source system are matched and transformed to fields in the target system, such as Salesforce. So, let's get started. What is internal mapping? The internal mapping is used when you need to transform and map source data to subject fields. Your application sends raw business data that doesn't match the Salesforce data structure. Therefore, you must perform transformations and mappings. Because you have no external mapping tool or don't use one, you use the internal mapping tool from SKYVVA. In this case, you don't need to use any external mapping tool or middleware. The SKYVVA mapping tool offers all the features of other external mapping tools. When to use internal mapping? When the incoming payload does not match Salesforce fields or structure. When data transformation or logic is required. When you want full control of mapping inside SKYVVA. When you have no external mapping tool to transform your application data into the Salesforce data structure. Go to the Inbound Interface Details page. Locate the Inbound Setup section. By default, the interface uses internal mapping. You can enable or disable internal mapping based on your requirements. After configuration, click View Mapping. Here, we see an example of internal mapping. In this case, the message type structure differs from the Salesforce structure. So mapping is required to transform the data correctly. Advantages: easy to configure and maintain. No need to install or configure any external mapping tool. Directly ready to use in Salesforce look and feel. Support rich formula functions such as VLOOKUP, if, and concat. Easy to use for business users. Powerful and extensible by using Apex code formula. Disadvantages: can only be done by a team member who has a login in Salesforce. Consumes Salesforce resources, for example, CPU time. Requires SKYVVA mapping knowledge. What is external mapping? Used when middleware already maps data into Salesforce as objects. SKYVVA imports the data as is. No extra mapping is needed. Saves CPU in Salesforce. Ideal when middleware does the work with no duplication in Salesforce. When to use external mapping? Middleware already transforms the payload into Salesforce format. Avoids extra CPU usage in Salesforce. No additional mapping is required in SKYVVA. Go to the Inbound Interface Details page. Locate the Inbound Setup section. Enable external mapping. Define the Salesforce external ID for the upsert operation. In this example, we're using the name field as the external ID. You can choose any field based on your requirements. After configuration, click View Mapping. Here, we see an example of external mapping. No mapping is needed if the payload structure already matches the Salesforce subject format. For hierarchical interfaces, mapping is required so SKYVVA can identify the root object and build the full structure correctly. Advantages: saves CPU resources. Prevents duplicate mapping work. Easy for business users if no extra mapping is needed. Mapping can be reused across interfaces. Disadvantages: limited to what middleware provides. Cannot do Salesforce-specific lookups. Requires managing mapping files if changes occur. What is hybrid mapping? Combines external mapping, middleware, and internal mapping, SKYVVA. External mapping handles most data transformation. Internal mapping handles additional mapping in Salesforce, e.g., lookups or small adjustments. When to use hybrid mapping? Middleware does most mapping, but Salesforce-specific operations are needed. Example: 90% mapped externally, 10% in SKYVVA for lookups. Flexible for business logic inside Salesforce. Ensures accurate data without overloading the Salesforce CPU. Navigate to the Inbound Interface Details page. Locate the Inbound Setup section. Enable internal mapping and external mapping. Define the Salesforce external ID for the upsert operation. In this example, we're using the last name field as the external ID. You can select any field depending on your requirements. After configuration, click View Mapping. Here, we see an example of hybrid mapping. Matching fields are imported automatically. Non-matching fields require manual mapping and transformation. For example, you can use VLOOKUP or other functions based on your needs. Advantages: combines middleware efficiency with Salesforce logic. Flexible and scalable. Clear division of responsibilities, IT versus business users. Easier to maintain long-term. Disadvantages: slightly more complex to design. Requires clear governance and understanding of middleware mappings. Higher initial learning curve. Internal mapping is best for logic and transformations. External mapping is best for large, static, business-managed mappings. Hybrid mapping provides the most flexible and scalable solution. Choosing the right mapping type depends on data volume, logic complexity, and maintenance needs.